Hello, World Wide Web. I'm Dr. Shado, the internet personality with the best hair. Now, there is still that one last movie in the Alien franchise that I have yet to give a full-length review to. So, let's forget about it and play Mario Kart. It should be obvious why I'm a bit apprehensive at this point. Alien shocked the world of horror. Aliens was a surprisingly good sequel, and Alien 3 started the downward trend. The steep downward trend. And it's not like they were giving themselves much time to learn from their mistakes, as each sequel in the Alien franchise had a shorter and shorter gap from the last movie, up to only 5 years from Alien 3 to Alien Resurrection. Written by Joss Whedon, notable now for the Avengers movies, though at the time he had only written a few episodes of Roseanne, Parenthood, and the '92 film Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Whedon's style was a much more over-the-top and silly way to present a story. Before you think that that's why everything's so famously fucked up, I should point out that Whedon himself hated the way this movie was presented. They didn't change his script at all, they just drained all the humor out of it, playing the scenes completely straight. This might be because the director, Jean-Pierre Jeunet, didn't speak a lick of English when he was in Hollywood working on this film, which happens to be the only movie in the Alien franchise to have been produced in America. This means the entire process was subject to a game of telephone with translation issues. Whether or not Whedon's original vision would have made for a good Alien movie is another topic entirely, but we can all agree that this direction for it didn't really work out. Hold on though, this is another one of those movies with an extended special edition! Yay! Just like all none of us asked for, an extended cut for Alien Resurrection was put together for the 2003 quadrilogy box set, a mere 6 years after the movie's theatrical release. Here, lines and scenes that even the editors thought were too bad to be left in the movie get put back in for our viewing pleasure. Great! Well, let's take a look at Alien Resurrection and see if these deleted scenes somehow work to make the movie better. We open to... Wow, that was fast. Oh, a CGI bug. Never mind. Why are you focusing on this? What's the point? That's it! I'm done! Fucking new opening for special edition. Guess that answers that question. Motherfucker. Let's pretend that this movie did not just start in the most asinine way possible. Let's just go back to the gum-chewing Marines, pointing their guns at each other's heads with their fingers on the triggers, of course, and our conveniently cloned Ripley, which the science types chop open to retrieve her also cloned Queen Chestburster, because after all, there's no possible way the story could continue without this convoluted mess. I mean, it's not like they established that the aliens were not native to LV-426 and weren't on derelict spacecraft, and therefore there could be any number of them around the universe. No, the only way to get them back is with some convenient cloning mechanism.
What about her? Can we keep her alive?
Well, doing that at least does make sense in the interest of scientific discovery. The alertness of the well-sedated Ripley, not so much. Especially considering they do next to nothing to restrain her after this, and never bring it up again. They do handcuff her in time for her checkup a few days later. Why bother with tranquilizers when you already found out they won't work? Uncontrollable violent tendencies. Don't worry though, Nameless Marine shoots her with special effects, saving Dr. Wren, played by J.E. Freeman. Though that character was originally scripted to be played by Bill Murray, which makes those alternate claims I've found that the original script was actually more serious and they played it sillier than intended, a whole hell of a lot less likely to be true. Somehow worse than her just trying to fucking kill everyone and everything without reason, they find out soon enough that when they cloned Ripley, they just so happen to clone her memories as well.
Wait a second. It has memories. Why does it have memories?
Shitty writing. Oh, well, they explain that it's because of the xeno-cross DNA and this enhanced instincts that she has memories from that. And the problem is that the instincts are skill memories, and that's related to the hypothalamus, and the memories of one's life and experiences are involved with the hippocampus, as well as imagination. But I mean, I've covered all this before. The point is, shitty writing. In a slightly more believable turn of events, General Perez, played by Dan Hedaya, would prefer they kill off their Ripley clone before she turns hostile. You know, ignoring the broken arm and attempted murder earlier, we mean deliberately hostile in response to the alien experiments.
That won't happen.
We won't tell her.
Oh, I see.
And in 5, 4, 3, 2...
Does it grow? Yeah. Very rapidly.
It's a queen.
How did you know that?
And there you have it. But that is a good question. If she was cloned from blood samples, like you just said, except you said the wrong damn planet.
From Fiore 16 on ice, where you died.
Fury 16, Furiona 161, same thing. Fuckers can't even proofread. Anyway, the only one there who would have taken these blood samples would have been Clemens, who died before she learned about having an alien inside her, so... Again, how does she remember? But hey, we learn in the extended cut just what happened to the old Wayland Yutani in the last 2 centuries.
Oh, they went under decades ago, get 'em in way before your time. Bought out by Walmart.
Yeah, just spent the last 3 movies establishing their uber cutthroat business tactics. Yeah. Bought out by Walmart. That'll be fucking lovely in Alien 5. So Dr. Wren here exposits the rest of the plot to Ripley, going against what he's said to General Perez in every way imaginable, while Dr. Guidman, played by Brad Dourif, looks on with the kind of stunned silence I imagine most of the audience has at this point. Nevertheless, we suddenly shift to the Betty and introduce us to the rest of the characters in record time, with Pirate Captain Frank Elgin, played by Michael Wincott.
No matter how many times you see at the sight of a woman all strapped up in a chair like that, just...
With his deep voice and good looks is suave enough, I guess, but he still ain't got shit on a good Johnny Depp. And Sabra Hillard, played by Kim Flowers, whose film career mysteriously died the same year this movie came out. We also meet the mechanic, Call, played by Winona Ryder, who you already know is ridiculously important as they put her on the front of the damn DVD cover, Dominique Pinion as Vreese, the other mechanic. Well, you can never have too many mechanics. And Gary Dourdan as Christie, the sharpshooter. Because space pirates, and... well, he seemed like a fun guy to keep around. Not quite as impressive as the last crew member to introduce, Joner, played by Ron Perlman.
What is wrong with you?
Oh, come on, he's Ron Perlman. He can do whatever the fuck he wants. This scene is to establish he's hot-headed, otherwise known as the closest anyone comes to notable character traits. Better than the Marines in any case, who only establish their incompetence at performing proper weapon searches of their new guests.
There are no weapons allowed on board, sir.
My own recipe. Way more dangerous.
And, shouldn't you, confiscate it? Just saying. The excuse for mixing Marines a la Aliens with criminals a la Alien 3 is that these pirates were needed to steal and sell people kidnapped while in cryosleep to this installation. Because it's secret, and it's not like the military could just, grab a few spare recruits and just say they were casualties because, well, then they would have to come up with another excuse for the pirates, so, there. Possibly one even weaker than the fact that rather than just take the money and leave, the obvious thing to do in this situation, Captain Elgin decides to hang out with the military for a while because, hey, he can snag a few free meals while he's here. Shit, even I can come up with a better excuse. Pretend he's got a rival space pirate out there and he's laying low for a while. Was that hard? Then again, who needs excuses? Let's just have the clearly established to be violent and unpredictable Ripley clone out and about, free, unrestrained, and unguarded, ready to run into our little group of assholes and beat the ever-loving fuck out of them. What was that one thing General Perez asked of them in the extended cut?
No fights.
No fights.
No fights.
No fights.
So I suppose now it's time to kick them out of your spaceship. Nah, let's just ignore that. After all, I've got to cover this shot in particular. Yes, Sigourney Weaver really made that shot. Yes, it was take one. Yes, this is one of the most well-known pieces of trivia about this movie. Please stop sending me messages about it! As that conflict was somehow not a conflict, we introduce a new conflict when it turns out that Call knows about the aliens and came to destroy them. But as she is too late, all she gets for her trouble is ambiguous lesbian tension. Oh, and getting found out immediately and getting herself and everyone she knows in ridiculously deep shit.
You brought a terrorist on board a military vessel, and as far as I am concerned, you all die with her!
How about those fucknuggets that just let him waltz in with those weapons? Oh, wait, do you know about the weapons yet? Do now. In an attempt to make a bad situation worse as quickly as possible, our pirate friends kill off a handful of Marines, and in the mother of all coincidences, this happens to be when the Xenomorphs figure out a way to escape their temporary confinement. I mean, you could have had the Call's attempt to stop the experiment inadvertently set them free, but nah, let's just have the aliens leave of their own volition whenever the plot tells them to. Now that the shit has officially hit the fan, the Marines spring to action and run like hell.
Ready for launch.
Okay, so doing experiments with dangerous creatures, have a standing crew of 30 or so guys trained to use weapons. As soon as anything bad happens, just have them leave. Why even have them there in the first place? Because numerically, most of the people involved either leave without saying a word, or are quickly killed at the hands of CGI aliens. This merely to segue back to our group of pirates, now on their own, and the pirate captain deciding to break off the group to walk alone down a dark corridor, collecting guns, despite him having more than enough already. Just kill him already. Oh, what a tragic end for the whole nobody out there who had a chance to get attached to him so far. So sad. But oh, the gripping emotion when the rest of the crew finds him less than a second later, as well as the monster.
Don't shoot! It's in front of the hull!
How? You're in a side passage down a long corridor, and your escape route is further down said passage. This ship has a very uniform, even shape to it, so how in the fuck could the alien possibly be in front of the hull? Obviously, it's just an excuse for them not to kill it, so less than a minute later, Ripley can show up and shoot it, without its acid blood damaging the hull because, no, who gives a fuck? Point is, now they're all together and need to figure out a plan of action.
I say we stay here, man. Let the army guys deal.
Where the fuck are the army guys?
They're dead!
No, they just left. Most of them, anyway.
Well, then we don't need this asshole anymore!
That's right, you could blow his brains out right now. He has nothing to offer you. Now, why do that? Besides, they've got Ripley to bring along and...
Now wait a second here! She was the host for these monsters!
Really? You care about this now?
We can't trust her!
Yeah, you're bringing along evil scientists that grew her in the first place just fine. If you're gonna get all emotional about something, could it at least be something that you're not being hypocritical about on top of it? Unsurprisingly, nobody else gives a fuck, and they forge ahead, quickly picking Vreese back up and heading farther down, stopping off to meet up with the last member of our band of misfits.
Get away from me!
Larry Purvis, played by Leland Orser, a minor character who was hijacked by the pirates and sold to these guys to be used in the experiment. Oh, yeah, that's right, the experiment.
What's inside me?
Look, we can't just leave him here.
I thought you came here to stop him from spreading.
What's inside me?
Personally, though, I love this scene, mainly for how well it lends itself to being remixed.
What's in fucking side me? Side me! Side me! What's in fucking side me? Side me!
However, just because he's carrying the very species they're trying to eradicate, that doesn't mean they'll start doing smart things anytime soon, so they bring him along just the same. I suppose while I'm at it, I should bother to mention the one Marine still on board, DeStefano, played by Raymond Cruz.
Oh, that's cool.
Who has the character trait of geeking out over shit, even in the middle of a crisis situation. At least in the extended cut, he does it more than one time, so it actually counts as a character trait, rather than just a random spaz attack. New Crisis, they need to dive under and swim 90 feet or so to the freight elevator, so rather than having one guy go ahead and make sure they can actually make it, they all dive under and just assume they won't all drown. unsurprisingly, CGI aliens show up. But when you take into account the lethality of sound waves produced by grenades, plus the fact that they travel much further underwater, yeah, Jonah pretty much just killed everyone. Oh, wait, no! Movie physics. They're fine! Except for Kim, who is captured. Or taken off set. Well, we never see her again, so whatever. The point is, they finally make it to the other side. After being underwater for 3 fucking minutes. Pardon me while I add that most of them should have drowned. And we've established several times in the series that you cannot remove a facehugger without dying. But hey, why not let her anyway? Everyone survives things that should kill without fail. It's only when the plot says you die that you should worry. Oh no! You mean the evil scientist that created this whole mess and offered you no benefit was going to somehow turn on you? And you did not shoot him, why? You pirates, for fuck's sake! Thus Ren escapes, and they are trapped with the last Xenomorph, who it seems is not doing all that much to try to kill them, just sitting there on the ladder, spitting on Christie and letting Jonah shoot it in the head. Dude, it's not that bad, it's just a little burn. Seriously, I'm sure that plastic surgery in the year 2379 will fix that no problem. Oh, excuse me, I didn't realize the plot said you should die. Then, out of nowhere. Yeah, goody. Now is she going to explain to them how she evidently knew about this alternate, safe, and very quick route that they could have taken instead of the suicide ladder? Nope, we're just going to concentrate on the real issue at hand. It turns out that Call is an android.
You're an Auton. Robots designed by robots, right? Man, I never thought that I would see one.
I have to say, with how much stuff in the extended cut either didn't help or made things somehow worse, at least this outburst is slightly less out of left field. Anyway, they mention they have just under 2 hours before the ship lands on Earth, and we learn that the movie thinks that 86 minutes is just under 2 hours. As Call can't divert or set the ship to blow, conveniently, she can direct it to crash instead. Strangely, this cuts their time to their destination in half, so no time to dawdle, except of course Ripley has to dawdle because the plot says so.
We gotta be moving. Best thing he can do is pray for a quick death.
Please die. Please die. Nope, instead we just watch a Xeno carry Ripley off in an oddly suggestive manner. Then we teleport right over to the Betty where everyone else is getting ready to leave.
Nobody moves, or I put a cap right where this little droid's brain is.
And he made it to the Betty on his own anyway. Except he still needs their help to do anything, which does mean that whole thing where he shot them and ran earlier. Of course, sort of an exercise in futility. Except maybe, as he says here, he wants the ship to land safely on Earth, but he had no way of knowing the ship was no longer on course, what with how they established the stealth runners and everything, so waiting to ambush them at the Betty to fix a problem he should have no way of knowing exists. Oh, fuck it, just kill him already. Now remember, acid blood, small ship, you probably shouldn't... The sad thing is, in an earlier draft, they actually did take that into consideration. While we're just doing whatever the fuck, why not hop back to Ripley so she can witness the birth of the newborn alien, a hybrid between xenomorphs and humans. Never mind the traditional Xeno is pretty much that already, but also, what the fuck is with all these cross-genetics? I mean, yeah, they cloned her to get the Xeno clone out of her, but... I mean, the human genome has been sequenced for how long now? How hard could this have possibly been? Oh, but it doesn't recognize the Queen as its mother. Another friendly movie-making tip. While puppets look better than CGI, you have to animate them smoothly. Jerking them around so violently that their jaw falls off on its own is not animating them smoothly. Oh, but it likes Ripley. Oh, never mind that. Run like hell! She makes it back to the Betty just in time for takeoff. But of course the giant unruly monstrosity also happened to make it onto the ship as well. Of course, if they didn't want that to happen, then they shouldn't have pulled the camera away. You know, anything can happen when the camera's not watching. As expected, important character slips away in the nick of time, so the last minor character can come in and be killed instead. You know, all of this could have been avoided if he just bought the kid some Play-Doh. Ripley figures out something is amiss, which it's about time considering she's been able to sense Xenomorphs for the rest of the movie, and moves in to calm the beast, with yet another weirdly uncomfortable cuddle scene. Don't worry though, a combination of acid blood, one small pressurized chamber, and fuck physics, I'm a movie, and the newborn is killed in one of the most gruesome and unrealistic ways possible. Or impossible. Whatever. Point is, they live, and reach Earth just like... Oh wait, now this is different. It's nice as a not-so-cut-and-dry good ending, but it does make you wonder why they spent so long trying to save Earth when... Oh, look at it. Anyway, that was Alien Resurrection, and... Wow. I'm sure you remember my opinions about this versus the third film. I admit this isn't what you'd call good, but it's fun and I'd rather watch it over Alien 3. The difference the assembly cut made in the third is remarkable, however. In the extended cut of Alien Resurrection, not so much. Mostly, we just get slightly altered or extended lines that either add nothing or make it obvious why they were cut in the first place. A few things added do help, but they're offset by some extras that honestly make the presentation even worse. This means that it doesn't stack up quite the same way as the theatrical versions did. However, there are still some things I like, mainly when things get silly and actually stay silly. I have a feeling that had the movie stuck to being pure cheese, it would have been far more entertaining. Not nearly as well remembered as the previous films in the series, no, but a unique creature in and of itself. As it stands, it still is, but the peculiar choices in direction mean you're left with a bunch of seemingly random events that are hard to get invested in, a decent cast, but a dry, overly serious tone that keeps the movie from being the joyride it was meant to be, coming in at 2 things in fucking side me out of 5. So it's good, but I wish it were badder so it would be gooder. Is that it? Nah, fuck it, it's not like they tried harder this movie anyway. Thank you all for watching, I've been Shado, and remember, if you're selling a dozen or so frozen humans for a secret experiment, just fucking go. Hash browns aren't that good.
What's happening here?
What's happening here is we're getting the fuck off this ghost ship, okay?
Leave him. He's got one inside of him.
What's inside me?
Hey man, I don't want one of those things birthing anywhere near my ass.
What's inside me?
It's a bad whisk.
What's in fucking side me? Side me! Side me! What's in fucking side me? Side me! What's in fucking side me? Side me! Side me! What's in fucking side me? Side me!
There's a monster in your chest.
I know, I don't understand.
It's a really nasty one.
I saw horrible things.
And you're gonna die.
Where am I?
Any questions?
What's in fucking side me? Side me! Side me! What's in fucking side me? Side me! What's in fucking side me? Side me! Side me! What's in fucking side me? Side me!
Leave him.
Fork.
Fuck.
It's fork.